Hey guys, before I begin, just gotta ask, I got this really annoying problem with YouTube right now. You know when you get PMs and stuff, and there's always that number next to that mail icon at the top of the screen when you're checking out your YouTube channel and stuff? I've had a number 1 next to my icon for God knows how long now, but I have no message there. You know how, and I know YouTube has done this sometimes, where you'll say that you've gotten a private message, and then you'll check and there's nothing there, and you just gotta wait it out for like an hour or so, and then you'll see it. Well, I've been seeing that number 1 there now for weeks, and there's no message there. I mean, I get messages from other people, and when other people send me a message, you know, I get to read it, it shows up, but there's always that one hidden message that just won't go away. So before I go crazy and just start yelling at YouTube about what the hell it could possibly be, if you guys have heard of it, or you know what it is, or if you've dealt with this before, just let me know, because this is really pissing me off. Anyway, it's not all that important. This is kind of expanding on my video on enlightenment, and I have to say I'm really impressed by some of the comments that I've gotten. You guys have, with your own particular comments under the video, you've kind of expanded on things, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I also saw some videos that also responded to the Big Code 111's video, and they were also really good. Like Azrael Judgment's video was cool, and what's the name of the other dude? It started with a W. Shit, why have I forgotten his name? Forgive me, man, if you're listening to this. I saw yours too, and I also liked it. Yeah, I just wanted to expand on things because I got one interesting comment on leadership, because I basically stated in the video that enlightened people don't seek fame or fortune and are not interested in leading the masses. It's not. That's one of the major problems of trying to fix the world, when you're dealing with enlightened souls who would be great at leading the world, but they don't want to. But I got a comment saying that, no, in fact, enlightened people do want to lead, they just don't want to dominate. And while I agree with that to an extent, not really. I already gave my answer in the comment, but I would like to expand on it a little bit further in case someone read that and was wondering about my thought processes here. And then I also want to expand further on that as well, because I also, after I put up that video, I was talking to Sarah from the Question Mark of God about this, and we started talking about so-called enlightened men and women, and I said to her something that kind of surprised her a bit, and I want to share it with you guys too. But let me get on with this, because I only got 10 minutes. I know some people would say that there are enlightened souls out there that do want to help the world, they do have a message, and they do want to fix things, and therefore they want to lead. They aren't interested in domination. Well, that is true, but to an extent. See, enlightened people guide. They don't lead. There is a difference. Here's what I mean. When you're dealing with an enlightened person, first of all, if you notice, an enlightened person is not interested in followers. Leaders need followers, but an enlightened person doesn't have any followers because they don't care about followers. When you deal with an enlightened person and you're trying to get on a certain path, whether it's spirituality or wisdom or whatever the hell it is, they always point you in a certain direction, or they give you hints, or they give you clues, and then they send you on your way so you can figure it out for yourself. It's like getting lost in the woods. Instead of saying, follow me, I'll lead you out, it's more like, well, you need to go here, here, there, 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 and you'll find your way out. Leadership's different. A leader basically has a grand vision of what they think things should be, whether it's the world, whether it's finances, whatever. A leader has this grand vision. And then they take this vision and they go, I have this vision to improve things. And if you want to see things improved, you need to follow me and help me towards this vision. And then the followers go, yeah, it's great, just tell me what to do. Because the followers, of course, are too scared to figure things out on their own. But this leader has pretty much spelled everything out for them. So they follow the leader and they help build to his grand vision. And then once they have this grand vision, then they say to the leader, now help keep things in order, we will continue to follow you. And the leader is like, oh, I'll be glad to continue things. And the leader stays on top and the followers keep working under him. That's a leader. See the difference? An enlightened person does not care about having followers because an enlightened person doesn't see themselves as that important. A leader does. I'm not saying that all leaders are jackasses. Don't get me wrong. But there is a reason why most jackasses want to be leaders, because you get to tell people what to do and have a bunch of people under you to do your bidding. And that's power. And jackasses love power. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the politicians and other idiots that we have, the CEOs and so forth. Leaders do like prestige. Leaders are interested in this sort of elitism, whether they have good intentions or not. There are many leaders that have great intentions, and they really do mean well, and they are generally good people. But there is this little bit of self-importance. I have this vision that no one else has. I have this talent that no one else has. It's up to me to lead others. That's what's in a leader. That's what makes them a leader. And followers are happy to follow the leader because he does all the work for them mentally. An enlightened soul is different. Someone who's enlightened would rather tell someone else how to get to a certain point so that they can see them as equals. Because an enlightened person doesn't think that they're above anyone. A leader does. An enlightened person, however, doesn't think he's all that important. They just think that they're more aware than others. And they want to get other people aware too, so they'll give them hints so that they can figure out their own way. They would rather that the person that they helped guide would come back and teach them something that they didn't know. An enlightened soul is interested in dealing with other enlightened souls so that they can both evolve. They're interested in equals, not followers. An enlightened soul doesn't think that they're all that more important. They're getting rid of their ego. They don't have that sense of entitlement. That's the difference. They guide. They don't lead. Because they're not interested in the trappings of authority and a caste type system, which is what leadership is about. Now, having said that, and I hope you guys figured this out. It may seem like a subtle difference, but it's a very important difference. This leads me to the subject of who we think are enlightened and who we don't think are enlightened. Enlightened souls aren't the stereotypical picture of a Buddha sitting on a mountain peacefully, If you look at who we would consider enlightened, like Lao Tzu, or Chung Tzu, or even Buddha, they withdrew from the world. They had views that may not clash with what society thinks is correct. They were tricksters. They were sarcastic. They were miscreants of society. They lived out in the fringes. They thought very little of what society thought was important. They were the rude boys and the rude girls of society. They weren't the pillars. There are a lot of holy men and women that people think about these days, and they're considered great pillars of society. And if I were to ask, do you think they are enlightened? Of course they would go, oh yes, 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 he or she was definitely enlightened. But if you look at the traits of an enlightened person, and look at the traits of who you might consider important, you'll realize that they aren't enlightened at all. They may have been good people. They may have been very well-intentioned people. They probably had a great message to give others. But they weren't enlightened. I'm not going to name names here. Not that I'm afraid of pissing people off. Come on. Think about it. This is me. But I'm leaving that open because I want you guys to think about this. Think of so-called great men and women of history, of religion, myth, whatever. And think about an enlightened person, and then think about a leader. And you may realize that that person that you follow wasn't enlightened. In fact, let me put it this way. If the holy person or great person or whatever was all about follow me, that's a good clue that they weren't enlightened. I think it's something that people need to think about. Usually if somebody wants you to follow them, it's not about you helping yourself to reach their level. It's about you following them to help them reach a higher level. Seriously. Catch you guys later.